Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully insert our slider, right? So right now they have the one slider. So here that right now you can actually insert that slider. And now I want to get this slider data and I want to visible it on here. Okay. So if you want to do that work, first of all, better I want to actually update this part here. I want to add some of the white for this TD. So that is in our create, not the create. So here I remove it. So that is our slider, and to the slider that is our index page, right? So that is actually all that our TD. So I want to actually put some of the wide, then it will be better. I want to put some of the wide. Okay, I put some of the wide, and this one I make it as a 5%. It will be as a 5%. Here I want to make it as a 15% right now. Okay, I make it as a 15% for everyone. Click as a save all. Now refresh it. Yeah, it's pretty better, right? So that is actually our image title, description, image is visible, and that is our action. Okay, so also you can actually increase it. Description I want to make it as a 25%. Okay, 25%. Now let's check this out. If you click save all, refresh it. Yeah, it's pretty good. So now friend, I want to insert another one. Click as the add slider. I name it as a slider 2. Slider named image 2. I put some of the description. I copy some of the description. And now I want to put it on here. That will be as a slider image 2. And I want to choose some of the another image. I want to choose like this one. Okay, rather than I choose this one. Click as open. Now click as submit. Yeah, you can see home slider is sliders inserted successful. That is our slider name as a 2. That is our description, images, and also action. So right now here we successfully insert this data, and also we successfully insert it in our database. So now I want to actually visible it. I want to visible it in our this home page, right? So if you want to visible that home page right now, there is a little things you have to remember. Like if you go to our route, into the route I have loaded our home page. You can see I have loaded our return home page. So if you go to our return home page, that means that is actually our view, and the view, and that is our home page. But our slider is not here, right friend? You can see our slider is not in particular that position. So here I have already updated that part. Like here, that is our all that main content part, right? So after that slider, that is actually our content. So our content part I have included into the home. But for the slider, I have already defined that things in our layouts, into the body and to the body. So into the body here, you can see that is actually our slider, right? So now I want to actually have to get this data. So if you want to get this data in appropriate this page, then you can get it by in particular that area. Okay, so here you don't need to pass it. So before I get all the data and pass that things into the home page, but this slider is totally different another page. So here I include it. So right now I want to actually get this our database data from our database, and I want to visible it on here. So if you want to do that work, you can actually put that command in particular that area. How much easily you can do that work, I show you. Here I take one of the PHP block, and I want to end this PHP block. That means the and the PHP. So right now we are using the blade template. As I told you friend, into the blade template, if you use the PHP code, you have to write these things like that way. So now our command will be just like that same. So before we did the same things in particular that area. So right now I want to do the same things appropriate this page. Okay, here I want to load this data, and I want to visible it on here. So for the reasons here I want to take one of the variable as a sliders. And then I take as a DB. I am using that query builders with this DB, the table, our table name, from which table you want to get this data. I want to get this data from our this slider table. So now I copy that slider table, and now here I add it. Okay, so from to the DB table, I get this data. I want to get this data from our slider table. So now I want to get all the data. So that is our get data. So I get all the data and take the things with this variable. right? So now I want to for each it. Okay, that means right now there is our all that slider is static data as a slider 1, 2 and the 3. So right now friend, I only want to take 1, okay, because here I want to for loop it. So I remove it and that is our 1. Okay, so first of all I want to add one of the for loop. I think friend you already know about it as a for each, and with the for each area I have to take it, that means our variable as a sliders, right? So I have already get all the data and take the things with this variable. So now I want to add it, and also make that sure you and it, that means the and or for each and for each. Okay, so now into the slider I name it as a as whatever the name you actually choose, I name it as a slider, slider, slider. Okay, so now with this slider I want to visible our everything. With this slider I want to visible our title. So here if you want to visible the title with this slider, our field name, that means our database field name, here we have to add our database field name as a title, description and the image, right? So now I want to use that as a title, so that will be as a title. And also I want to visible our description, so it will be just like that same. With this slider I want to use our database field name. Our database field name is a descriptions, right? So now I want to add this description, that means that will be as a description. So that will be as a description, and then that is our images. So images will be also just like that same, but right now that is actually our background. So if you use that background, so you have to add it into the asset area. So into the asset, before that was actually our image. So now I want to do with this slider, I want to use our database field name, as image, right? So now here we have to add it. So that is actually our database field name as a image. So now I want to use this image. Okay friend, so right now we are using that is actually the background image. So that is actually URL. Okay, so into the URL type here you have to add that asset, and here you have to display your image like that way. Perfect. So now that's all you have to do. Now if you click as a save all, now if you go and now if you refresh it, so before that was the static data. Yes, you can see friend, now it's totally dynamic. So that is our dynamic title is visible, dynamic image is visible, and that is our description. So everything actually comes from our this place, that means our database, right? So right now here one thing friends, you can see that is actually the fixed, but right now they have the two images, so it should be slider the two image. So here if you want to make it as a slider, then you have to update these portions. So that is actually one of the cursor, that is our cursor inner, and then there is actually the cursor item active. So into the item active area here you have to update this part. So I show you that is actually active, I cut it. So here if you want to do that work, first of all you have to add one of the key. So now I want to add that as a key, as a dollar and then key. Okay, so with this dollar key, if you use it, you have to use it also on here. So first of all I want to take it with the one of the key. So I take it with the key, and then here I pass that our slider. So now I want to use this key, and in this key area, first of all I want to make it as a 0. Okay, and 0 it will be started, and then here I want to add our this active. Okay friends, so I want to add this active in particular that position. So now that our active class will be activated, and after that I want to make it as empty. So that's all. Okay, so that's the code you have to actually add for active this class. So that is actually one of the class. So here it should be started from here, and now we have to add it. So now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, yeah, you can see that it's actually showing as a slider image 1, and if you click on here, yeah, everything is now perfectly working. So that is the two image, I inserted it. If you want to insert new one, like here, go to that add slider. If you add as a slider image 3, and now I put one of the description. I put better copy this description, and here I put the description. So that will be as a slider image 3. Okay, and choose one of the image. So right now I choose whatever image you actually choose. Right now for education purpose I'm actually using it. So I using it, click as a submit, And now you can see our slider is inserted successfully. So that is actually the 3 slider, right? So now if you click on here, click the refresh. Yeah, there you can see that is actually the 3 slider is loaded. So that is our first slider, and slider image 2. That is a slider image name 2. There is another one as a slider image 3, and that is actually our title is updated. Okay friends, so how can do that work? I hope is very much clear to you. So that's how you can update it. You can make it as a dynamic. So right now this part is totally dynamic. So now we can actually manage it everything from our this slider. So from that is actually all that slider. If you want to add that slider, you can add it from to this position. So friend, they have also another option for the edit and the delete. So for the edit and delete, I have already created this URL. You can see if you put it, you can see showing as a slider, edit as a 4 ID, there is a 3 ID and the 2 ID. So friend, this will be just like our home brand. That means home brand. Here you can see that is actually the same concept. So that is your task. Try to edit it and then delete it for the same concept, and you have to apply it for this slider edit and delete. So try to do that work. That is your task to complete this portion, that edit portion and the delete portion for the slider. Okay, so I have already completed that add sliders. So as I told you, it will be just like that same our home brand. So if you understand that home brand, or rather than flow this home brand, edit and delete option and apply it on here. Perfect. So next video I want to update our home page this portion. Okay, so here I want to update it on the title, that on the short description, and that will be on the long description. So if you want to update this title from to the back page, so here I have already added on the menu as a home about. So how can do that work? How can manage your everything that will manage your about us this portion from your backend? Next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.